In the series of Naruto, some hypothetical matchups just seem to never die. Despite the Naruto manga having been finished for over a decade at this point and no new material releasing, the arguments around these battles just persist. In Naruto, there are many of these. This is, however, not the case in Naruto's sequel, Boruto. This is for many reasons, like the series not having been around as long, not even being over, and there just being less relevant characters combat-wise. But even with all of this, Boruto has one versus battle that discussion around seems to just never end, and that is Delta versus Momoshiki. When I first caught up to the Boruto manga over 5 years ago at this point, this topic was constantly being debated and was by far the most popular Boruto versus battle. And somehow over 5 years later, this mostly remains the same. Now, this video isn't really going to be structured like my normal versus battles. As you can probably see by the title and thumbnail, I won't be slowly breaking down who I believe wins, because I just think Delta is clearly superior. This is me explaining why I think despite how popular the matchup is, it isn't close and Delta would make easy work of Momoshiki. Now, to be clear, this is referring to the manga versions of both characters. I know canon when it comes to Boruto is a whole subject of debate in itself, but just know I'm only using information from the manga and guides associated with the manga in this video. So don't tell me I forgot Momoshiki has Shinra Tensei because he uses it in the anime. Now, before I begin, I would appreciate if you both liked the video and subscribed. I upload content similar to this at least weekly on various series like Naruto, Bleach, and JJK, so if you enjoy content like this, I'll have plenty more for you down the line. Anyways, on with the video. When it comes to discussing Delta, the discussion almost always centers around her fight with Naruto, and that's because it's really the only fight Delta actually has. Many people blatantly misinterpret this fight and claim things like Naruto held back on Delta here, or that Naruto was blatantly stronger, but both of these are just dead wrong. First, to address the idea that Naruto held back on Delta somehow, I don't know how people think this when the opposite is said multiple times. It is stated Naruto is going all out by himself, Kawaki, and a V-Jump guide. The only real argument I've seen for Naruto holding back is that he's protecting the kids and is worried about somehow hurting them, and that's why he's holding back. Now, while he is protecting them, and it is a handicap and away from Naruto, it doesn't mean he can't fight at full power. The statement explaining how Naruto is protecting the kids is literally prefaced by saying Naruto is going all out. What the statement from Kawaki here means is Naruto is using his superior skill to control the direction of the battle and keep Delta away from the kids. This is a handicap in the sense Naruto needs to focus some attention to fighting in a particular way, but this is a demonstration of Naruto's superior skill in taijutsu, which is fine. Naruto is one of the most skilled characters in combat in the entire series. I don't think Delta is anywhere near Naruto in terms of skill, but this doesn't conflict with her being on Naruto's level in terms of physical stats, which is what I'm saying Naruto is certainly not handicapped or holding back in. Now, all I've done so far is explain why Naruto didn't hold back on Delta. I haven't actually explained why Delta is comparable to Naruto, but this is because if you read the fight, it's just really obvious. I'll put some examples on screen, but the fight is multiple chapters of Delta and Naruto going back and forth and clashing attacks. Delta's able to react to, damage, and tag Naruto multiple times throughout this encounter. Even when Naruto becomes enraged, Delta continues to keep up with him. It's also stated Naruto put his life on the line against Delta by the official Naruto website, and a volume statement says that Delta was a fearsome opponent for Naruto. So both the statements around the fight and the feat shown demonstrate Delta can keep up with Naruto. The only time Delta is overwhelmed is the start of the fight, but here Delta was just blatantly holding back. We see her power up right after this, and when seeing this, Naruto says, "I'll be going all out now too," with this implying both him and Delta are now going full power. This also makes sense considering Delta was easily being beaten by base Naruto here, and then is able to keep up with KCM Naruto right after. Even if you think Naruto held back, you would have to think he entered KCM and then suppressed himself further to the point of being weaker than his base, which, while not impossible theoretically, would just be a weird move and not really make any sense. This scene of Delta getting beaten down is just not consistent with anything else, and you'd have to make so many assumptions to say she isn't holding back. Now, with Delta established as relative to Naruto, we need to go into how this is of relevance to Momoshiki. Momoshiki is just shown to be below Naruto. Now, I'm going to cover Momoshiki in two sections. I'm going to go over his normal state or his physical stats, and then his Golem. I'll start with the normal state and address the Golem separately as they perform pretty differently. Momoshiki, after a few fusing with Kinshiki never actually keeps up with Naruto without using the Golem. When physically engaging Naruto, Naruto is keeping up with him in his base form, and when Naruto entered KCM, Momoshiki gets immediately overwhelmed. This just displays Momoshiki as being vastly inferior to Naruto when engaging in physical combat. The only other feats Momoshiki has is against Sasuke, specifically him kicking away Sasuke later in the fight. This seems extremely impressive as Sasuke teleports behind Momoshiki before attacking, so Momoshiki managed to respond and counter Sasuke when Sasuke had an advantageous position over him. I don't have an issue with saying Momoshiki outdid Sasuke here. The issue I do have is that Sasuke should be weakened here. We know Naruto and Sasuke are meant to be equals as adults, that much is stated to be the case, and in later fights like Jiken and Ishiki, they seem to perform comparably. However, in the Momoshiki fight, Sasuke performs far worse than Naruto. When Momoshiki absorbs Kinshiki and begins to transform, Sasuke rushes to stop him and attempts to slash his neck. Momoshiki takes this sword slash clean to the neck with no damage and doesn't even flinch from the hit. This also wasn't even fully fused Momoshiki as he hadn't transformed yet. The issue with this is Naruto was able to stagger and hurt Momoshiki once he was fully fused with his punches. So despite Naruto and Sasuke supposedly being equal, Naruto can harm someone who shrugs off sword slashes from Sasuke. The obvious implication from this would be Sasuke is weakened. This can be explained by Sasuke opening a portal that he takes multiple people through, which he mentions he can only take a limited number of people through, and we know opening portals takes a large sum of chakra. So Sasuke would just be weakened during this Momoshiki encounter from the chakra expenditure. But if you say Sasuke isn't weakened, it would just mean Sasuke is massively weaker than Naruto based upon how they perform. So the comparison of Delta stacking up far better to Naruto than Momoshiki did would still hold, and Sasuke wouldn't prove Momoshiki is anywhere near Naruto's level. Now, this is only discussing Momoshiki's physical stats, and we do have to address the Golem. Momoshiki's Golem completely changes how he compares to Naruto. He manages to overpower Naruto's Kurama avatar using it, and it seems Naruto needed the help of Sasuke to beat it. Now, there are a few things here. First off, this wasn't a full Kurama avatar. It can be hard to see, but the avatar only has 5 tails, and not the full 9 tails. We know the amount of tails manifested with tailed beast forms does correlate to strength, so this would imply Naruto's avatar was not at full power. As to why this may be, since Naruto holding back would obviously not make sense here, Naruto did have chakra absorbed out of him by Momoshiki before Sasuke and the others arrived. When Momoshiki stops absorbing chakra, we see Naruto sweating and looks visibly drained. Looking at both Kurama not having all his tails, and the explanation being given with Naruto having his chakra drained, we can conclude the avatar was probably not at full power against Momoshiki. So it's hard to say how strong the Golem really is here, when the only thing it does is overpower a weakened avatar, and we never see a 5 tails avatar again, so we can't really say how strong it is. Also, pertaining to his battle with Delta, Momoshiki would actually need to get a chance to summon the Golem, which there is a chance he won't. He only summoned the Golem once being overwhelmed physically and in response to Naruto summoning his avatar. So if Delta kills or incapacitates Momoshiki rather quickly, the Golem will likely never come out. What would allow Delta to kill Momoshiki quickly is her lasers. These lasers destroy the cells of what they hit, and it's heavily implied one hit from the lasers would be sufficient to end Delta's fight with Naruto. Kawaki believes Naruto's regeneration couldn't save him from the damage. Naruto says it's scary to get hit by, and Delta says one hit from the lasers is sufficient. So every implication around them and just the description of how they work imply that one laser blast is enough to end the fight with Naruto. Now, Momoshiki can absorb jutsu, and this would work on Delta's lasers, but the issue is Momoshiki needs to be able to react fast enough to raise his hand and do so. Delta's lasers were able to almost hit KCM Naruto. Delta says they just missed, and Naruto says it was too close. You can say this is because Naruto didn't know Delta had the lasers and was taken by surprise, which I would actually agree with, but then the same thing would apply to Delta's fight with Momoshiki, as Momoshiki isn't aware of Delta's lasers, so he would get caught by surprise the same way Naruto was. And considering how much slower Momoshiki is than Naruto, with even base Naruto keeping up with him, Momoshiki shouldn't be able to respond quick enough to absorb the lasers. And again, these lasers are a one-shot technique, so if Delta pulls these out, it should just end the fight immediately, meaning Momoshiki won't get a chance to ever use the Golem due to being killed too quickly. Especially considering the previously brought up feats of the lasers already hitting Naruto were done from a distance, and we see later that Delta can fire the lasers in close range, I don't think Delta would have any problem landing the lasers if she wanted to, especially when she would already be winning in close quarters against Momoshiki. Now, I want to address some other common arguments that I think are invalid, but didn't really feel like addressing them fit anywhere else in the video. The first one I wanted to go over is people saying that Boro is stronger than Delta. This stems mainly from two statements, one from the manga and one from a guide. Starting with the statement from the manga, Code says to Delta that since she is no match for Naruto, it will inevitably be up to himself or Boro to beat Naruto. So Code is saying himself or Boro can potentially take down someone that Delta is no match for, clearly implying Boro and Code are stronger than Delta. Now, the first problem I have with this is that the statement does not actually say Boro and Code are stronger than Delta, as in it does not anywhere say Boro is physically more powerful than or faster than Delta in any way. All it is really saying is Boro may be able to beat someone Delta cannot, but Boro and Delta have completely different styles of fighting. Delta is basically a purely physical fighter. Against Naruto, she just engaged in taijutsu the whole fight. Boro, on the other hand, has his virus and regeneration, which makes him a totally different matchup for Naruto than Delta was. Basically, what this could mean is Delta has greater physical stats than Boro, but Boro being so hard to kill and having a virus to affect strong people with allows him to be a more effective fighter potentially. This interpretation would actually be in line with what we see, as Boro was kept up with in speed by Team 7, with Sarada even saying he's not that fast, whereas Delta blitzed Karma Boruto, and even base Naruto could keep up with Karma Boruto, who Delta is far above based on fighting KCM Naruto. So clearly Boro is not on Delta's levels stats-wise, and the statement is likely meaning his arsenal of abilities. This is actually supported by the wording of the second statement brought up to say Boro is stronger than Delta, where it says Code has abilities surpassing Delta and equal to Boro. The fact that it says abilities supports that it's in reference to qualities beyond the speed and strength of the fighters. The only reason people bring up Boro being above Delta is that Borushiki blows away Boro easily, and then it's argued Borushiki is weaker than Momoshiki. I don't even actually agree with Borushiki being weaker than Momoshiki based on Borushiki being stronger than Code, but it wouldn't even matter as Boro's stats don't match up to Delta, making the feat irrelevant to this matchup. The other thing I wanted to address is Momoshiki knocking out Naruto when he first shows up. This is once again something where I feel like people just heavily ignore context when bringing it up. Some people claim this actually means base Momoshiki is at all relevant to Naruto in terms of power, but if you read the scene, you would see it stated Naruto could easily blow away Momoshiki's blast, and he's using his body as a shield to protect the surrounding area. This fight was taking place in Konoha and at the Chunin exams where there's lots of people around, so Naruto was trying to limit the AoE of the fight, and that is the only reason Momoshiki managed to do anything here. This was also full power Naruto with some of Sasuke's chakra, so it wouldn't make any sense for base Momoshiki to be this strong, considering later a potentially weakened Naruto was able to keep up with fused Momoshiki. Some people also bring up Sasuke saying if Naruto goes down, it's all over, and then say that because Sasuke is comparable to Naruto, that means that it needs both Naruto and Sasuke to beat Momoshiki. But the problem is Kinshiki is also present during this. So all the statement means is that if Naruto goes down, Momoshiki and Kinshiki jumping Sasuke would be able to beat him. Now, I want to briefly address at the end here the volume statement saying that Naruto and Sasuke had to team up in order to beat Momoshiki. I haven't discussed this until now, as I think it doesn't really change that much, but I know it's a popular argument, so I'll give my thoughts anyways. First off, this does seem to be a mistranslation, with the Viz saying that Naruto and Sasuke had to team up to beat Momoshiki, and the more direct translation seemingly just saying that they did team up, which takes away the implication they could not have defeated Momoshiki individually. I, however, don't even even really care about the translation here, because I think Naruto and Sasuke needing to team up to win is shown in the manga. Naruto had to save Sasuke during the fight, and was getting his Kurama avatar overwhelmed by Momoshiki Golem before Sasuke assisted Naruto. Now, while I think Naruto and Sasuke did have to team up to win this fight, I explained earlier the context of both being weakened, so this still isn't an argument for Momoshiki scaling to full power Naruto and Sasuke. I also think they only really need to team up to take down the Golem, and that is what the statement will be referring to. Overall, absolutely nothing puts Momoshiki on Naruto's level, whereas Delta is just blatantly comparable to him in her physicals, and has a technique that at any time could instantly end the fight, with Momoshiki's only potential argument for being stronger having a vague level of strength due to fighting a weakened Naruto. So I hope I made it clear why I think Delta wins this fight rather easily.